Welcome to my new Let's Play of Guilty Gear X. Originally released for the Sega Dreamcast and arcades in Japan, and for the PlayStation 2 internationally, this is the second mainline Guilty Gear game, and greatly improves upon the original's gameplay. For this playthrough, we'll be starting out with arcade mode. So most of the roster returns from the original, with two exceptions. Cliff Anderson and Justice canonically die during the tournament from the first game, so they do not return until the Japan-only expanded version Guilty Gear Plus. There are several newcomers as well, like Johnny, Venom, and my main, Jam. Alright, so our first opponent is Chip. So, Guilty Gear X plays very similar to the first game, so you have your basic buttons are the same, like punch, kick, slash, heavy slash. You also have like the basic Gatling combo as well, which can change to specials like so. Jam is a very interesting character because she also has the ability to charge up certain specials by pressing down twice and a particular button. So in this case, triangle, circle, or X, or slash, heavy slash, or kick, I guess. I feel like I'll alternate notation a lot in this playthrough. But yeah, this was originally for the Dreamcast, and honestly, graphically is a huge step up from the original. A lot of games actually moved from the PS1 to the Dreamcast around that time, probably because of the Sega Naomi arcade system that was used for a lot of arcade games at this point. Alright, so far so good. Chip only has a little bit of health left. Another new feature is the introduction of the Roman cancel system. So in the middle of an attack, if you press 3 face buttons at the same time, you'll basically cancel the end lag for a particular attack, allowing you to go straight into another combo. This is actually one of the big features of basically every Guilty Gear game going forward. There's also the faultless defense system, where if you press kick and punch at the same time with back, you'll basically have a little shield, so it's like a better guard. There's also the instant kill system from the first game, which actually works a little bit differently. Instead of pressing, I think it was punch and kick together, and then quarter circle forward and heavy slash, you press all 4 face buttons together, and then 2 quarter circle forwards, and then heavy slash. If I can actually pull this off. I am not having great success with this. Well, I did the input correctly, but I missed, so that was a little bit unfortunate. We'll see it later on. I was trying to show it off here, but oh well. This is the first fight, so it's not overly difficult. Alright, so next up is Anji. One thing worth mentioning about instant kills is if you actually whiff, your tension gauge will go away for that round. Also, unlike the original Guilty Gear, landing an instant kill won't end the match, it'll only end the round. So it's a little bit more balanced. In general, this game is a lot more balanced. You might have noticed that I'm actually not using things like running out the timer, I actually do have the timer set to the default length of 90 seconds. Because this game is a lot more manageable. There's also difficulty options, which definitely make it easier as well. Let's try this again. Yeah, I'm not having the best luck with this. In general, I'm not planning to use a lot of instant kills because in general I actually don't find this game overly difficult, especially because there are difficulty options. We are playing on one of the lower difficulties because I'm not the best at classic Guilty Gear. I mean, I'm also not the best at modern Guilty Gear in all fairness. I do like these games a lot, but I'm not an expert by any means. Yeah, Jam has actually been my main since I started playing Guilty Gear, which was with Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus. I actually don't remember why I started playing as Jam, but I basically stuck with her through most of that game, and then when I got back into Guilty Gear with Xrd, I actually didn't really play Jam, so I'm a little bit rusty, which is also part of the reason why I'm playing on one of the lower difficulties, to make this a little bit easier. She can actually chain a lot of attacks together, which is kind of cool, like different kick specials. Alright, so this is Kai. Overall, this probably won't be too difficult, especially again, we're not playing on one of the harder difficulties. I'm definitely not good enough at the game for that. Kai is usually my secondary character in most Guilty Gear games, like, yeah, pretty much all of them at this point. In general, I feel like Kai is one of the easier characters to use, even though he's usually not particularly, like, high tier by any means, but generally is one of the easier characters to learn, which is why I tend to gravitate towards Kai in a lot of the games when I don't really have a main like in Strive, because like Jam's not in the game at the time of this recording. Specifying because I'm actually recording this pretty far in advance and I don't know who's going to be in Season 2. You also have other specials too along with instant kills, so for example, a half circle back and then forward along with slash or heavy slash, if I can actually pull this off. Kai is making it very difficult to actually show this off. Nope, I'm not gonna worry about it, I'm just gonna finish the fight. One thing worth mentioning is that the tension gauge is essentially split into two halves. So you basically need half of the tension gauge to use a super. I don't think it uses the whole gauge in most cases. Also, there is one character who does not have an instant kill in this game, but we'll talk about them a little bit later. So let's try this again. Animist. Another really cool move that Jam has is the ability to press quarter circle forward and slash, and then basically each button is a different follow-up. So this is kick, that was interrupted. This is heavy slash, this is slash, and this is punch. So yeah, each one has a different effect, which is very good to kind of mix things up. So because I was probably not attacking enough, I actually had my tension gauge completely drain. This series tends to reward like aggressive play, like just running towards your opponent will charge the tension gauge, which is kind of a staple of the series. Almost there. Okay, Kai is not going down without a fight. He has like a sliver of health left. So we have another newcomer, Johnny, who's the leader of the pirates. Mei was in the previous game and is part of the same pirate crew, and from what I gather, Johnny does appear in Mei's ending, but isn't playable until this game. Johnny is part of the reason why I tend to play this game on the lower difficulties, because I struggle a lot with fighting Johnny's AI, especially if he ends up showing up late into the arcade mode run, in which case his AI is a lot more difficult to defeat. So yeah, not an easy opponent, partly because I'm not used to fighting Johnny in most games. I don't think he's not in Strive yet, and I think it was added fairly late into Xrd, but I may be misremembering. I frankly didn't play that game at launch, I played it much later. Alright, a little bit more to go. Let's try to show off the Heavy Slash special. I'm also just realizing I never showed off the other special because it missed, so I should probably show that off too. Or Super in this case. You know, this game actually looks really good for like a 2000 Dreamcast game. This is the PS2 version, but still, I don't think a lot was really changed. There were actually 2 more difficulties added, so there were 4 originally. The PS2 version actually adds an easier difficulty and a harder difficulty. So yeah, 6 difficulties in total. Which is nice, as someone who is definitely not the best, and even finds the easy difficulty of the Dreamcast version a little too much, to be perfectly honest. As not a half circle, I guess. Missed again. And countered. I guess we will not see that special so far. We'll try to show it off later. So this is Baikon, no longer a hidden boss, and instead is a regular opponent. That's what I was talking about earlier about being able to like chain certain kick specials together, which is really cool. It doesn't do as much damage as I would like, though, to be honest. Also, there's the dust system. I didn't actually talk about that. If you press, in this game, triangle and circle together, you can perform a dust attack that can actually launch opponents for a follow-up. If I can actually demonstrate this. There we go. If you hold up when you land the dust attack, you can actually follow as well and just counter or continue the combo like that. I'm not the best at actually comboing with a dust attack. It can also be used to basically get past like a guard with like a low kick, usually, like so. I usually don't use it in this game because it's 2 buttons instead of just 1. Starting with X2, it's actually just on like R instead of like slash and heavy slash, so it's way easier to use. I'm still trying to use this super. Well, it kinda worked. I missed the last part of it, sadly. And blocked, so I guess we will just continue to not see this. By the way, Jam is a restaurant owner. hence her victory pose involving balancing plates. The plot of this game is actually not really told in the arcade mode, unlike the original. Instead, the story mode is mostly found in the manual and a Japan-only re-release of the game that adds the proper story mode, Guilty Gear Plus. So yeah, this sadly doesn't have a ton of story compared to the original. Also, you can perform a grab attack by using Heavy Slash close up, but I find it really unreliable, but we'll try it. Or maybe not. There it is. A little more to go.